I just wanted to say how truly moved and happy it makes me to see so many people submit stories. I never thought that I would get this many, and it makes me just so happy. If you want to submit your story and have me include it in one of these compilations, please submit it below, and I would be more than happy to. My mom always pulled the plug on my phone so she could charge hers. On her deathbed in the hospital, I decided to return the favor. As a kid, I was never allowed to go into the woods. It wasn't until I heard an inhuman scream as an adult that I realized why. I went numb as its teeth sunk into my skin. This is why my parents told me to bring bug spray to the camping trip. "I know your darkest secret," he said, grinning. But as he bit into his burger, I knew he was bluffing. I never wanted to die alone. That's why I'm training to be a pilot. The doctor went in the elevator with the dead body. However, when the elevator stopped, only the body remained. When I saw her for the first time, I knew I had to have her. My coworkers at the funeral home are still wondering where her body went. "911, Officer Johnson speaking. What's your emergency?" "Officer, I've just found the lifeless bodies of 3 missing people in the vault of the bank I'm robbing." Being inquisitive can get you places. For example, it got me admitted to a mental asylum. "Open the fridge. There is no food." Your mom walked up to you. "Give me your phone," she says. You looked at the gun in your hand, then up at the blood splatter on the wall. It wasn't supposed to come to this. When Jurassic Park first became popular, me and your brother would dig up the backyard looking for dinosaur bones. That's how we found out where Mom went. The world ending in 2012 wasn't a prophecy. It was a suggestion. We should have listened, but now it's here. Finally, you're done with the homework. But then you turn the page to see that it's double-sided. Tears streaming down his cheeks, Paul closed his eyes as he kissed his wife's lips. That was all that was left of her after the bear attack. Just before swallowing the pill, Harry took one last look at his sleeping wife. Then he swallowed. He didn't want to leave her, but they were about to lose their house, and he knew his life insurance would pay for it. Feeling hungry, Lance dug into the sub sandwich in front of him, along with the big chocolate beside it. The old woman stood across the big dining room table, watching him while silently licking her lips. Just as soon as her victim was done with his meal, she could have hers. Bill felt his eyes welling up when he saw his mom sitting on the couch in the living room watching TV. Why won't you just stay dead? Jake gripped the steering wheel, tears streaming down his face. He prepared to ram the car into the brick wall in front of him, not feeling the text from his wife. Honey, a new heart has just come in. Our Caitlin will be okay. Jack used to be a night watchman at the cemetery. He quit when he heard loud crying coming from a grave of a supposedly stillborn baby. Phil put the gun to his wife's head and pulled the trigger. As he watched his beloved slump to the floor, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Her zombie bite would take him any second now. As he got ready to saw the piece of wood, Alex grinned. His smile faded when he heard the piece of wood scream and saw the blood begin to flow from the cut. The farmer stood looking out at his cornfield and the scarecrow, admiring his handiwork. It looked almost alive. That ought to teach that bratty neighbor boy to trespass on my property, the farmer said to himself. Game night at the Sharon household was always a weekly event for all the neighbors. The only downside was having to wash off all the blood the next day and throw out all of the dismembered body parts. As the needle went into her arm, Denise felt sudden peace. That all changed when it dawned on her that she couldn't move at all, but she could hear the physician whisper to his nurse, "The paralyzing serum works just fine. We can now prepare for the sacrifice." Greg rubbed the lamp he found and a genie emerged. Greg's excitement turned to terror when it suddenly wrapped its bony hand around his throat and growled, "Now it's your turn to be in the lamp." Sammy ran to his mom and dad's bedroom and jumped into bed with them. He told them trembling that he saw a monster under his bed. He then saw his father turn to him and pull off his fleshy mask. "You didn't think I would let you get away, did you?" Greg could not understand why his wife wasn't speaking to him. All she would do is weep and mope. It finally dawned on him when he heard his neighbor say, "I'm going to miss Greg. He was a good man. Cancer is such a terrible disease." I'm usually the family liability until they need me. You do matter to us, especially me, so can you please let us out of the basement? I convinced my mom to play a board game with me, and it all went well until my mom forgot to say goodbye at the end. Does anyone know where to hire an exorcist? As I turn, I see a doctor approaching. Good. I had been injured for a while. As I put the scope of my rifle back to my eye and turn away, I remembered. There isn't a medic on my team. While playing hide and seek in the snow with my friends, I hid behind a large snow mound. At least, I thought it was, until I noticed a bloody arm sticking out. Ugh, what is with this crazy toddler? All he does is write 666 on the walls. After falling off of the moving roller coaster, Howard was relieved to have survived. But as he walked away, he felt pain and looked down to see that he was dragging a stump for a leg, oozing blood. As the angel descended upon the earth, it said in a cold, soulless voice, "Be not afraid. as beams of hellish heat and light emitted from its wings and hit every major city, it added, "Be terrified." Scientists have made a horrifying discovery. We were never meant to have shadows. "Can you show us, with this doll, how the man touched your sister?" the prosecutor asked the young boy. The witness took the doll and tried his best to fit it all in his mouth. "We were distraught when we found out that our father was crushed by a giant. Tonight, we will avenge him by spinning our webs and laying our young deep in the monster's lungs." A time traveler decided to go back to save the Library of Alexandria from burning. After what he found, he decided to burn it himself. It's notable that no one reports UFOs or aliens now that mobile phones are a thing. After all, a grainy photo can be safely ignored, but someone with a high-definition video needs to be silenced permanently. I watched in horror from my hiding spot as the terrorists slaughter the protesters. When I get older, I am going to head to their home, London, and kill them all. Do you ever wonder why the uncanny valley phenomenon exists? Why did evolution find it crucial to our survival that we notice when something is trying to masquerade as human? I often hear people talk about the Mandela effect, the theory that our reality is constantly shifting around us with only our memories left behind. What they don't talk about is being unrecognizable by everyone you ever loved. He told me to take out my knife. I'm not sure what's more disturbing, the fact that there was no blood, or the fact he was smiling as I held it, the blade hilt deep in his chest. I was always afraid of little green men, but it turns out it was the tall gray ones I should have been scared of. I've been hunting Bigfoot for nearly 20 years, but out in these woods, he's hunting me. Asking her to play a game of magic was the worst mistake of my life. I didn't think she would be an actual witch. It was so nice feeling my wife's hands rub my back, but then I felt another pair, and another. When the planets began to move and attack, everyone said the world was ending. But I think maybe it's just the Earth trying to get back on track. I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who submitted a story. I'm truly overwhelmed at the amount of submissions that I've been receiving in such a short period of time. It makes me truly happy, and I just wanted to say thank you and to keep posting your 2-sentence stories below, and I would be more than happy to read them on air. Join me next week for more terrifying tales. Stay safe and have a horrifying week.